Larissa. Oh, okay.
I'll put you down, Larissa.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome to the October 17th Thursday chat. We have several announcements. And by the way, Lou Wolf, we heard from Len Fishman, and Lou Wolf will be here next week to chat on his and maybe fill in a period between Len Fishman and now. For some of you who don't know, he has been the CEO and then retired and then was brought back when a subsequent CEO had to resign from his job for personal reasons. So we'll start with Michael Ross.
Thank you, Jerry. The dining committee met last week, October 8th, and I'm going to present a brief synopsis of that meeting. You'll hear from Josh Ferraro and his team later in this session. First, let me just introduce the committee because we have new members on it. And so let me give you the names of everyone who's on it. In alphabetical order, Judy Brown, Mayor Fine, Barbara Goldstein, Tom Jacoby, Sid Josephi, Bob Mesnick, Bob Orkand, and Ellen Ruffner, in addition to me. We started our meeting last time, and I think it's important, with a discussion of our mission statement. And I actually want to read that to the whole community because I think it's important that we all understand it. The dining committee and advisory group works with the dining team to provide feedback from independent living residents and guidance to the staff in order to promote excellence in the total dining experience. We spent some time talking about this within the committee, and I just want to highlight a few of the key points. First of all, the committee deals with the dining experience, which is not just the food, but also service and the overall ambiance. And that applies to Centro, Nosh, takeout, and special events. Second, we're dealing with something that is ultimately a collaboration of staff and the dining team. It's not a confrontation. It's a collaboration between the staff and everyone in the community. Third, we're dealing with communication, and this really goes in two directions. From residents, it's a way to give feedback to the dining team, either directly by talking to Josh or any member of his group, or via the dining committee. Any of the people I named, we're all here to listen and to bring messages back to the dining staff. It's also a way for the dining staff to bring information to the residents via the committee members. And I hope we all remember that. Last, the focus of what we do has to be for the good of the entire community. We're not there to represent our own individual perspectives. Every committee member really represents the entire community and not just their own personal viewpoint. We're there to be the eyes and ears to bring in information. We spend a fair amount of time, as we will at every meeting, talking about feedback that we've received, either in notes to Josh, in conversations with residents. And we talk about this both in terms of negatives and positives. What's going right? What's going wrong? And as Josh, Eileen, and Patrick have said, if they don't know about something, they can't fix it. So again, this is an area where all the committee members participate, but we rely on the community as a whole to help make it better. We spent some time, as you're going to hear, I think, in a few minutes from Josh, Next week, we're going to have a new menu rotating through on our regular schedule in Centro. We did review this with Patrick. There's a lot of creative things. I'm going to leave that aside for the moment. We also talked about the fact that we will be rotating through the menu in Nosh in November. And again, we'll hear more about that as we go forward. The last area that I wanted to talk about is there are going to be changes coming over the next couple months in the reservation system. A new computer system called OpenTable is being put in. The contract has been signed for that, and we're going to be entering an implementation phase. This should make it easier for residents and for staff, and as I say, we'll be hearing more about that. One area that we've talked about at multiple meetings previously and is going to be continuing on our agenda is the need for people to understand the importance of reservations, but also cancellations. We all need to share in the responsibility for optimizing the dining experience. Let me give an example that Josh called to my attention. On one recent evening, there were 130 seats reserved in Centro. At the end of the evening, only 90 people had showed up. People canceled. Some people didn't cancel and just didn't show up. Cancellations and changes to reservations really need to be made with 48 hours notice. We all understand that there will be times when things will happen. You get sick, you can't come, etc. But this having large numbers of people not showing up or not canceling until the very last moment has several major negative impacts on us as a community as a whole. There is labor that has to be called in to man the staff. If no one shows, they're sitting on their hands and we're all paying for it. Food is prepared and it will be wasted if we're not serving the number of meals that people have reserved for. And perhaps as important as all of this, there's a lost opportunity. We all complain that we can't get a reservation when we want it. When we don't cancel a reservation far enough ahead of time, that reservation can't be given to anyone else. So I would just ask everyone to keep this in mind. If you've made a reservation and you can't keep it, if something comes up, give the reservation, give the staff, give the dining service 48 hours notice. And those are my thoughts. And again, keep giving feedback to every member of the committee. We're there to work with the dining staff in making things better. Thanks, Jerry.
Let's see if there are any questions, Michael. Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Michael or any comments on what he said? Okay, we'll move on. Judith Kahn.
Thank you, Jerry. Hello, everyone. This is a final reminder that the Hadassah Shabbat Study Group will be meeting this Saturday, that's the 19th, from 2 until 3 in the synagogue. Our discussion topic for this meeting is going to be the impact of women rabbis. For folks who have a copy of the Hadassah study book, Moonbeams, a number of you have obtained copies. The Chapter 9 gives a brief history of women's ordination and some commentary, both historical and contemporary, that will help stimulate thinking on the subject. However, I do want to emphasize that reading the chapter is not required for coming to the meeting and participating in the discussion. I mean, I think everybody has some thoughts about it to contribute, and I would especially like to invite women who are new to Newbridge to come and join us for what will no doubt be a spirited conversation. Knowing this group, we really do have a very interesting and stimulating time. So if there's any questions, you can reach me at my phone extension. I also have some copies of the study book available still, just a few copies left. And I'd be happy to arrange to get one to you. So thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Robert Brown.
Yes. Thank you, Jerry. First, I'd like to start off by thanking the majority of residents that have already given to the Appreciation Fund. And I want to mention that over half of these residents have given more than the $500 minimum we've requested. But today, next, I want to address those of you who have not yet given. I know that none of you would stiff servers in a restaurant, so please stop procrastinating and write your check to the Newbridge Appreciation Fund today. We're approaching the last 2 weeks of the drive, and the fewer reminder calls that the Appreciation Fund committee members, and especially me, have to make, the better it is. And then, perhaps most important, last, I want to address a comment by one resident about why there should be no need for the Appreciation Fund, they said, and that Newbridge should just pay the hourly employees more. I totally disagree with this. One, if Newbridge paid, we'd end up just paying that amount in our increased rent, and the staff would end up paying taxes on it as their pay. That's not what we want. We want our hourly employees, the servers, the security, the cleaners, the drivers, maintenance, engineering, to know that the residents voluntarily donated this gift to thank them for the hard work that they do for us. So in December, when they get their tax-free gift checks from the Appreciation Fund, they know we value and appreciate them. And in return, believe me, we know they appreciate us. So thank you, the Newbridge community. And I want to be sure all of you feel really good writing these checks and giving this donation to the Appreciation Fund. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Bob. Larissa Levitch.
Very nice.
It was good.
Mhm. Excellent.
Larissa? No. Well, I guess we'll move on to Josh Ferrara.
Hi, Jerry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, so we're coming to you from the Shapiro Boardroom. I'm here with Thomas Roberts. Some of you may be familiar with our sous chef, Tom Roberts, but just in case you haven't had the opportunity to interact with him, there he is. Tom has been with Newbridge for 9 years now. Prior to his tenure at Newbridge, most recently before that, he was with Capital Grill. And on a side note, his family business that he is involved with is Donna's Cakes in West Roxbury. So if you have ever ordered a delicious cake or cupcake from Donna's Cakes, Tom has a hand in the deliciousness of those bakeries. So I am going to share my screen, Jerry, and then we're going to get into the menu presentation as Michael Ross had said. Thank you, Michael, for the summary and recap of our most recent dining committee meeting. And the reason that it's Tom and I today is that Chef Patrick and Eileen are actually at a Senior Dining Association seminar. So they are interacting, learning, and presenting for the Senior Dining Association leadership. So we're very happy that they're getting that opportunity, which brings us to today.
Josh, I've only enabled that computer in the boardroom. Do you have another one?
Yes, I'm sorry, Jerry. If you could, my Joshua Ferraro, that's the computer I'm sharing from, if you would.
Right, I assume that, but for some reason or other, I don't see it on the list.
Let me.
I got it. It's a late arrival. Hold on. wait, just, oh, sorry for this delay. Continue to talk. I'll tell you when I've,
Oh, I don't know how good I am at filling voids, but I'll do my best. I didn't have a joke prepared, unfortunately. But yeah, so before we get into it, let me know when you're okay with me sharing, Jerry. but
okay,
we're
you're
Oh.
all set.
Oh,
You're
thank God. You bailed me out. All right. That's wonderful. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep,
All right, thank you. Hold on, I just got to go to slideshow. All right, you can still see my screen, yes?
yes,
Okay, thank you. All right, so here we are today, October 17th on the Zoom chat to present the Centro dinner menu starting on Monday, the 21st, and we'll get into some more timeline. Some of the highlights that we want to mention, the baked potato is back. So that will be on as an everyday starch option on the new Centro menu beginning on Monday. We have 2 new chocolate desserts, one of them being a brownie pumpkin cheesecake and a chocolate bourbon pecan pie. I do want to mention that if you refer to the Simply Prepared section of the menu, you'll see more traditional dishes and lighter fare, meaning lightly seasoned and less composed dishes. So for those of you that prefer dishes made simply, we have an entire section to accommodate. And then for those of you that do like a little zest and flavor and flair, there are a number of new sauces and condiments to complement dishes. Sauteed shrimp with soy garlic is a good combination. The ramen noodles with the curry miso. And we can also recommend additional combinations as we talk through the new menu. So what is changing? Again, the new menu is set to launch for dinner service this Monday, October 21st. As a note, please remember that Centro will be closed for lunch on this Monday for staff training. One of the other new things that we'll talk about is that similar to the Nosh weekly specials, Centro dinner specials and the Copper Beach buffet menu will now transition to a weekly format. And we'll get into a little bit more detail and we'll even show some examples of what that looks like. Chef Tom.
All right, well, thanks for the introduction, Josh, and thanks to the community for allowing me to join the Zoom today in place of Chef Patrick and Eileen. So here we are today, October 17th, presenting the new menu items. Tomorrow, the 18th, a copy of the new menu will be placed in each resident's cubby and also will be included in the weekly dining communications that go out. On Monday, October 21st, Central will be closed for lunch service, again, for staff training. And the new menu will be launched for dinner service Monday evening. Looking ahead, we'll be rolling out the next NOS menu sometime in November, coming up next month. So I get to talk a little bit about the food and what we're excited about. So Chef Patrick has added a pumpkin pizza for a touch of seasonal inspiration on this rotation that's just coming out. Some new items like the duck liver pate and autumn beet salad, and as Josh mentioned, a Wagyu beef brisket. The new dessert menu, which is actually designed by Dougie, our in-house baker. We recommend his caramelized onion, caramelized banana split. It's delicious. I know it's delicious. I like sweets. That's why I bought my own cake shop so I can enjoy cake and cupcakes when I want them. All right, getting into the Central dinner menu. On the starter side, we have the traditional chicken soup. It does have some vegetables like zucchini, kale, and bell peppers. The cranberry pot stickers is a new one. It is plant-based. It has dried cranberries, and it's a pot sticker with cabbage sauteed and served with a soy dipping sauce. Baked oysters Rockefeller, I think, is pretty recognizable. Duck liver pate. On the salad side of the menu, some new salads are the crab Louis salad. And the autumn beet salad we mentioned earlier, which is bib lettuce with cucumbers, baby corn, roasted beets, candied pecans, and a choice of the dressing that you like. And also there'll be a chef's weekly salad in the rotation, which will change regularly. Moving to the dinner menu from the sea. Chef Patrick put on a coconut tilapia, the salmon empapilé, which is the North Atlantic salmon that we wrap in, we wrap in puff pastry and
Parchment paper.
parchment paper and bake off in the oven. It should be a pretty popular one. Salmon is definitely one of the number one seafoods that we sell. Also, there's a San Bronzino on the menu. The vegetarian selection. There's a pumpkin pizza, which can be substituted. We can substitute the Gruyere cheese for a vegan cheese to make it vegan, not just vegetarian. A wild mushroom ravioli, and then the Japanese ramen, which also could be made vegan. It's a hearty vegetarian bowl, has ramen noodles, bamboo shoots, pea tendrils, sand tofu, boiled eggs, curried miso broth, and sesame seeds. And again, if you take out the egg, it becomes vegan on that selection.
Great. Thanks, Tom. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the sandwiches and poultry and meats. So starting with the sandwiches, we've added a short rib burger. So it's a blend of short rib and chuck, coffee rubbed, served with fried onions and a side of beer cheese sauce. That happens to be one of my favorite burgers as of late. We also have a shrimp po' boy, and then we have a vegan meatball sub. And that is already vegan. No substitutions need to be added to that to make it vegan. Under the poultry and meats, we have a strawberry chicken. We have a double crunch Korean chicken thigh. That was tasted at the tasting that we had last week with the dining committee. We have a Wagyu beef brisket. Some of the residents may remember this. If you attended the Keneally vendor presentation, Chef Patrick actually had cooked off some of this Wagyu beef brisket, and it was definitely well received. So we're excited to have that on the menu. It's an American Wagyu marbled beef brisket, slow cooked and served with an onion au jus. And then a ribeye heart. It's a 5-ounce lean center cut ribeye steak grilled to order and served with Boursin cheese compound butter. I anticipate that being a very big seller. Although we know that the ribeye steak has quite a bit of flavor, when it's the entire steak, it can also have a little bit of fattiness to it. This is just the heart of the ribeye, so it's a much more tender and easily manageable steak. Again, I want to draw attention to the Simply Prepared section. These are items that are either a little bit more traditional or prepared with less seasoning and composition. So I had mentioned the short rib burger. We also have a plain Angus burger. Your basic 6-ounce fresh ground Angus patty grilled to order with lettuce, tomato, and onion, cheese pizza, oven roasted tilapia, and a shepherd's pie. As always, the chicken breast, the poached or seared salmon, and the sauteed shrimp will also be available, simply prepared. You can order that as an entree or add it on to a salad. Nothing in that area has changed, and that will be on the printed menu as an option. For vegetables and starches, new vegetables, we've got creamed corn, steamed carrot coins, tempura Brussels sprouts, spinach available steamed or garlicky, and roasted butternut squash with Fuji apples. And don't forget, every day we also have a vegetable of the day, which is on the Centro dinner specials. Under starches, again, very excited about the Idaho baked potato being back on the daily menu. Seasoned fries, celery root puree, bulgur wheat pilaf. The ramen noodle is available as a side, not just as an entree. And again, every day we also have a starch of the day. Since it's your favorite subject to talk about, Tom, you want to get into a little bit of the desserts?
Sure, yeah, let's jump into the dessert menu. All right, so let's see. So caramelized banana split, have some cherries, whipped cream, some chocolate, choice of ice cream on it, mascarpone rice pudding, a brownie bottom pumpkin cheesecake, which has a chocolate brownie crust, and we'll have a pumpkin cheese filling that goes on top that it's filled with, chocolate bourbon pecan pie, special dessert of the day, a cookie of the week, fresh fruit cup. And I think that's it.
From you, yeah, thank you, Tom. So as I had mentioned, similar to what we have been doing in Nosh, we will be transitioning to the specials in the Centro Dining Room and the Copper Beach Buffet going out in a weekly format. So every Friday in the culinary corner, there will be a link to the Centro Dinner Weekly Specials and the Copper Beach Buffet for the entire upcoming week. It will also be loaded, of course, on the dining website. For next week, during this transition, we will continue to send out the menu on a daily basis for the specials through Constant Contact, but that will be for next week only as we transition into the weekly specials. So next steps, again, tomorrow you'll get a copy of the new menu being placed in each of the cubbies and be included in the weekly dining communications. The paper form will go out just the once, as always. If you need an additional copy of the paper menu, you can print that from the dining website or see one of our staff members at the Centro host stand. As a final reminder, remember Monday we will be closed for lunch to train our staff, and the new menu will be launched that evening. And as Tom had mentioned earlier, we will be looking for the next new Nosh dinner menu rollout in November. A special thank you to everybody involved in preparing this menu, including the collaboration of the dining committee. Jerry, for your time on this Zoom chat. And with that, I can open it to any questions. I'm just going to stop
Hey,
sharing.
Yeah, take down your sharing. Okay, do we have any questions, any comments? Terry, are you raising your hand? You're not, you need to unmute if you're talking. I guess not. Sharon Gouveia, go ahead.
I just want to thank Josh and Tom for their very detailed explanation of the menu and everything that's going on in food and beverage. I had expected Eileen to be here just to give a shout out for the next wind down, which is October 31st. And being that such a special day, we are going to Transylvania. So be prepared to wear black and come and have a wonderful time, have a ghostly time. It's going to be a great day. So thank you, Jerry. It's October 31st at 4:15, right after, it's a Thursday, so it's right after the Zoom chat. And it will go from 4:15 to 5:15. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right. Anybody else?
I just wanted to ask a question of Josh, and that is there any way that you can help people like me who can't eat spicy food? And many times I will say to the person who's serving us, is this spicy? And the person says, no, it's not. And when it's served, it is. So, I don't know how you handle that, because that would mean everybody would have to taste the food or something. I don't know. But if there was some way you could indicate what is spicy, that would really be helpful.
Thank you so much, Terry. Yeah, I think what we struggle with is two things on that is, if I only told you what I thought was spicy, I grew up in an Italian household and everything's on fire. So I wouldn't be a good judge of what's spicy and what's not. As far as an indicator, we would be a little concerned about the indicators piling up on the menu and making it too busy. So I do have a suggestion, Terry. If you're trying something new, maybe for the first time, try the sauce or the accompaniment on the side to begin with. And then you can determine whether it's within, your ability of what spicy is to you. And then if you find it is acceptable, the next time you can get it fully incorporated into the dish. Where 9 times out of 10, unless it's part of the cooking process, we can leave a lot of the sauces and seasonings off some of these dishes. And I'm happy to help you as you navigate through the new menu when we're in the dining rooms with that, or reach out to me separately if you have any questions. I'd be happy to help you through that.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure.
I don't want to cause an issue. I just wanted to know, but thanks.
I think you bring up a good point. A lot of people have different perceptions of what's spicy and what's seasoned, and it's a great point, Terry, and it's very relevant. So I'm sure what you're sharing, other people may be thinking. So thank you.
Okay, before I recognize Larissa, are there any other questions of Josh
Or Tom.
or Tom?
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you. All right, Larissa, I called on you before, but I guess you weren't there.
I'm sorry, I had technical difficulties with my laptop, but it's fixed. I have to actually thank the IT who were able to fix it so quickly. Thank you so much, and my apologies, Jerry. So I just want to remind you of what's happening over the weekend. We have two special concerts. The first one is Saturday night. We are bringing back the band that was very well received in the past. And this is for the Browns family, I believe. It's the Rocking Chairs, and they're going to be performing the best rock and roll songs of 1950s and 1960s. Yeah, I was thinking about you guys when I was booking this one. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. And the second concert is going to be Sunday afternoon. And it's going to be a very special program in its own way. We are bringing the youth choir from Handel and Haydn Society. So Handel and Haydn Society is one of the most respected ensembles in Boston that perform period music on period instruments. They also have a lot of educational programs, and they engage youth in learning and appreciating classical music. And the effort, one of their efforts is having these amazing choruses. The one that comes to us this year, the chorus of tenors, sopranos, and two choruses. And the chorus of sopranos and altos. They travel all over the world, and on Sunday, they're going to be in our community. So I encourage you to join Sunday afternoon, 2:00. So this is our weekend, and I'd like also to showcase the program that is happening on Monday, October 21st. And this is a very special presentation by our own Sheila Pillay. You know how much effort Sheila put into bringing the Torah, the Czech Torah from Prestitsa, and give her a home at Newbridge. But this is just one thing that Sheila has done in a way of honoring the Jewish life in Czech Republic. She just recently traveled to Prague. I don't want to tell you the story, but it is very, very moving and meaningful. What she accomplished is remarkable. It warmed my heart just to learn about it. So I hope that many of you, that I made you very curious, and I will see many of you joining Sheila on Monday at 2:00. Thank you, Jerry. I'm done.
Okay, all right. Matt, you're on.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I want to wish everyone a wonderful Sukkot. Special time of year. I love seeing the sukkahs up. And Bernie McCarthy, our amazing carpenter in the engineering team, even though there was a little bit of rain earlier in the week, as always, did an incredible job setting those up, AQPS decorating them, and it's just wonderful to see them being used. So I wish you all a wonderful Sukkot. A request from some residents that I'm going to share with all of you, and one that probably won't surprise you all, but this is to please return the shopping carts and the luggage carts from where they came. It's one of those things that if we just take a moment to put them back where they came from, they'll be there for everybody as they're needed. But if they end up living all around the campus, it's up to our security teams and our housekeeping teams and the rest of our staff to identify them and bring them back. And that's not always the most convenient thing for all of you. And truthfully, that's the part that matters. It's making sure that they're there for you when you need them. So please, if you wouldn't mind just going the extra mile and make sure to return them, it would mean an awful lot to your neighbors. So thank you. You can tell I'm trying to go a little bit fast here because we've covered a lot of stuff today. The next one is about the hired personal assistance policy. And this is me asking all of you that have hired personal assistants to please make sure to look in the resident handbook, and I'll attach it to the letter this week as well, identifying what your responsibilities are as the individual hiring that personal assistant. The last couple weeks, I've had some really unpleasant run-ins with some private aides, and it's been around where they're parking, where they're sitting, how they're using cell phones, how they're driving on campus, doors they're accessing, and all that kind of stuff. As a reminder, these are your employees unless hired by Houseworks. So you're responsible. And in the resident handbook, which can also be found on Touchtown, by the way, on page 37, it goes through the responsibilities of the private aide, which even includes going through an orientation in security. If there are violations that happen, again outlined in the policy, it talks about what happens. So the initial offense is the private aides notified, as well as the resident who hired them. Second offense is a fine of $100. The third offense is a fine of $200. And the fourth offense, which actually happened this week, was the personal assistant is no longer allowed here on this campus, okay? And a no trespass was issued for them. We cannot waver when it comes to safety and security on this campus. When people show up on this campus, there's a very clear expectation. And the expectation is that you represent Newbridge, you represent your neighbors, and what this whole community stands for. And, you know, we can't have it any other way. And so, you know, we've been really strict on this. I've been incredibly strict on this. It's put me in some interesting oppositional conversations. But this is one of those things I'll be unwavering on. Because if we let this go, what do we let go next after that? And what happens after that and after that? So I just ask for all of your help. So for those of you with private help, please review the policy. Make sure that your private aide or the agency that you're utilizing is aware of the policy. And that way we can have a very good community where everybody's cooperating the way they should, and it'll run smoothly. These policies and procedures, although sometimes they can be a bummer for some, they exist for a very legitimate reason, and that's to keep our campus running smoothly.
We have a
Sid, I
question.
see a little hand.
Yeah, from Sid. Go ahead, Sid.
Hi, so having been an employee for Houseworks for 24 years, I know that they used to send out a notice about where to park on campus to the employees. Does Houseworks itself get something that they can give to the employees, or are you just expecting the residents to?
So Houseworks employees have full communication as if they were HSL employees. These are primarily the other agencies and private aides that are hired directly that have no affiliation with HSL whatsoever. Those
Are there many from other agencies?
There's a lot of private hires, meaning not from agencies at all, just
Right.
people hired their own private aides. That
Right.
makes up the majority of the folks working here. And
Because
that
I was
makes,
thinking if there are other agencies, then we could just ask the agency to.
whenever there's an
share.
agency involved, Sid, that's actually pretty easy.
Mhm.
It's a phone call. When there's not an agency involved, it's a lot harder. And that's where it truly becomes a significant resident responsibility.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. And I appreciate the help on this. It's no fun getting on a call and having to have a serious topic conversation like this one, but it's one of those things that a reminder goes a long way, and it's great for the community. I mean, it keeps the balance of what makes this place special, which is fairness and supporting one another. Any further questions on that before I keep going?
See any?
Well, I would like
Okay.
to say something, Jerry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Frank.
one of the important things I think is to tell these aides how to dispose of things, because the trash rooms are often not, how can I say, the trash is not put away the way it should be. I think a lot of the residents also don't do it properly, but it's often also the people who work here and they don't do it. I don't mean work here, but the aides who don't do it properly.
Thank you, Faye. Yeah, I mean, if we all just do a little bit, it'll go a long way. And
But I
so,
think the people need to know that they have to instruct their aides. And many of the people who have aides are probably no longer in a position to instruct. It's almost that their families who hire the aides need to be told.
And one of the things in the policy actually says you are supposed to go to security and sign up. And within 30 days of being here, you're supposed to go through an orientation with security. And security will orient any private aide about the do's and don'ts of the Newbridge campus. So we've built a system in place to help educate everybody. But unless they're sent to us and they're somebody's personal guest, on occasion, we have no idea that they could potentially even be here. So we need your help.
Okay,
Okay.
any other questions on this topic? All right.
Yes, I have one more. Is there something printed out so that the residents can have in their apartment, a laminated sheet or something?
Not a
That's-
laminated sheet, Sid, but it's page 37 of the handbook, which is on Touchtown. It can also be provided at the concierge desk at any moment. And it'll also be included in my letter tomorrow.
Okay, I'm just thinking that having an extra copy so that the aides can look at it at any time out on the counter.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to move on for a moment. We have been patiently waiting for the assisted living parking lot to be torn up a little bit so we can finally finish the repair for the cottage irrigation. That is happening next week, someday between Monday and Friday. They told us they're coming next week. We don't have a specific day, but we're excited to get that one done just in time for snowfall. So,
Hey, Matt, may I interrupt you? This is Fernando.
Hi, Fernando.
They're scheduled to be out on Tuesday morning to start that work.
Okay. Tuesday morning, hot off the presses right there. Excellent. Thank you, Fernando. And lastly, I just want to give an incredible shout out to Dorrit Senior and the Landscaping Committee for a wonderful presentation they had put on when Len Fishman, the former CEO of HSL, was on site. And he met with a bunch of residents, and obviously he did a wonderful presentation and talked about the history of Newbridge and how this phenomenal campus came to be. I thought it was, incredibly meaningful for me to actually meet Len. I had never met him before, and I got to spend quite a bit of time with him, and certainly a visionary in many regards. And I hope you all enjoyed it very much. And I know Dorrit and the Landscape Committee put their heart and their souls into making this event happen. So just a public thank you to them. And that's it for me. I'll take any questions.
Any other questions? Sid, you have your hand raised again?
Yeah, yes, again, sorry.
Hello, Sid.
Speaking about the presentation from Len Fishman, and it was recommended that I talk to Fernando, so I'm kind of asking everybody. I would love, and I know some others would love to see photographs of what the campus looked like before and as the work was being done. Is that possible to have a display?
If you're asking me, I've never seen those photos. I don't know if you have them, Fernando.
Yeah, I have all kinds of photos at different stages of this place being built. Let me know who to send them to, and then you guys can put something together.
Okay,
Very
who's
cool.
volunteering? Okay.
All right. We'll move on to Roz Holt. Unmute, Roz.
When I just wanted to mention this, I walk down the halls, everybody knows 6:30 or 7 in the morning, and I see many of the help lying on the chairs and the sofas when I walk down. And I don't say anything because I'm a nice person. I say hello to everybody. But I noticed that quite a bit lately when I walk down the halls.
Thank you, Roz. And that shouldn't be. They're not hired to be in the hallway. They're hired to provide personal assistance to the resident that hired them. And so, those are some of the conversations we've been having. Some of them go incredibly well, and some of them not so much. I appreciate you speaking up. And this is something we're going to continue to work on to make sure that people are following the policies of this community. It's absolutely essential.
Any other questions or comments?
Judy?
Judy Rosenthal, are you raising your hand?
I'm raising my hand just quickly to say I totally support Roger's comment, I've noticed the same thing, not just early in the morning, but at all hours of the day. And right on the common area, right before the bridge, after the bridge, wherever there's a comfortable chair. So I hope that's addressed in the comments that will be in the instructions. I've never seen that before, but it seems to be very widespread in my.
Thank you, Judy.
Rona Goodman had her hand up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did
Rona,
I mute myself? Am I unmuted?
yes, you
Yes.
are.
Yeah, this is the final word on my wonderful guitar in my backyard that I have nicely given to the community. It should have been seen by the landscape committee or the people that are doing the work, because it's not a little piece of art. It's tremendous, and it could be, I think, placed in front of the 5,000 building, and it would be terrific. Anybody who likes art would appreciate it, because it's a real guitar, and it's probably about 8 or 9 feet tall. Wow. So it won't be able to be moved in a little while because of the leaves and the snowfall and all that. And I will never mention this again, but I am donating it if you want it. If you don't want it, fine. I'll keep it in my backyard. I was being nice once. Once in my life, I was being nice and donating this. So please do something about it if you
Hey,
want it.
Rona,
Yeah.
Rona, this is Fernando. We are in discussions with the master landscaping plan of doing something with that. But as we're going through this plan, we're not going to move it right now. It might be sometime in the spring or maybe even late fall next year before we actually design a place for that. So we do know about it. It's in the
Why is that? I'm curious. Why is that?
because we are working on a master landscaping plan for the whole community. So that will be.
Have you seen it? Fernando, have you seen it?
Yes, I have. I played it.
I don't want to hear that.
So we do know about it, Rona, and we do appreciate you donating it to
We
us.
do.
And getting it to us, and it is in the works to find a spot, a permanent home for it.
Okay, I think anything else should be taken off line. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, Lou Wolf will be here. Bye.
Have a wonderful Sukkot, everyone.
Bye.